Skol Vikings family. I'm absolutely fired up today because a massive rumor just dropped that is shaking the foundation of our quarterback room. Everyone is obsessed with the current battle under center, but what if I told you the front office is already looking way past our current guys? We're talking about potential interest in a controversial collegiate prospect that could change everything we thought we knew about our future plans. Is the team losing faith in our current signal callers? Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and comment below before we dive into this wild situation. The Minnesota Vikings find themselves in an unexpected spotlight regarding their quarterback room, with recent reports indicating potential interest in former Texas Tech signal caller Brendan Sorsby. During a recent episode of the Coach JB Show, former coach Jason Brown shared insights from former Vikings quarterback Sean Salisbury, who visited Minnesota and suggested the franchise is exploring additions beyond their current roster. This rumor has immediately sparked conversations about the long-term vision for the position, while fans in Minnesota are primarily focused on the ongoing competition between Kyler Murray and J.J. McCarthy. This news introduces a complex layer of uncertainty regarding the team's stance on their current passers. If the Vikings are indeed casting a wide net, it implies a level of hesitation within the organization concerning both the future financial commitment required for Kyler Murray and the developmental progress of J.J. McCarthy. Bringing in a prospect like Brendan Sorsby would certainly disrupt the current dynamics at the position. However, the narrative took a sharp turn on Tuesday when the NFL officially announced that there will be no supplemental draft held this year. This administrative decision effectively puts a pause on any immediate acquisition of Brendan Sorsby, pushing any potential move for the quarterback into the 2027 offseason at the earliest. For a team like the Vikings, who are constantly aiming to build a competitive roster, this revelation forces a deeper look at what the front office truly envisions for the future. The debate surrounding whether the team is fully committed to their current options has intensified, leaving supporters wondering if the starting quarterback for the 2026 season is truly the same individual who will lead the offense into 2027. Skol. The situation remains fluid as we navigate these internal roster evaluations. The potential interest in Brendan Sorsby forces us to analyze why the Vikings might be scouting outside their current established depth chart. Kyler Murray arrived in Minnesota just a few months ago, yet this report hints that the team might already be calculating a path that moves away from him as a long-term solution. When considering that the franchise faces significant financial decisions regarding Kyler Murray's contract beyond the 2026 season, any interest in an external prospect becomes a critical piece of the puzzle. Meanwhile, J.J. McCarthy enters his third offseason with the franchise, representing a different kind of investment, one rooted in time and development. If J.J. McCarthy fails to secure the starting role during the upcoming training camp, the speculation regarding his future in Minnesota will naturally escalate. The question arises, would the Vikings consider moving on from him via trade before the season starts? This is why the news matters right now. The organization is currently balancing the pressure of short-term performance with the necessity of long-term stability at the most important position on the field. Every rep during the offseason becomes more significant when rumors circulate that the front office is looking beyond the current options. If the Vikings genuinely believe that their future starter is not currently in the building, it impacts how the coaching staff handles the rotations and how much patience they extend to their current quarterbacks. The pressure is mounting, and every decision made in the coming weeks will be viewed through the lens of whether the Vikings are truly satisfied with the talent currently on their roster, or if they are actively searching for a different direction to sustain their competitive window in the seasons ahead. Diving deeper into the background of Brendan Sorsby, the situation becomes even more complicated. The NCAA recently stripped Brendan Sorsby of his collegiate eligibility for the 2026 season due to an investigation that revealed he placed thousands of wagers on sports over the last 4 years. These bets included events involving his own teams, a detail that brings significant scrutiny to any team considering his services. This reality creates a direct conflict with the culture that head coach Kevin O'Connell has prioritized throughout his tenure. Minnesota has focused on building a specific identity within their locker room, and bringing in a player with this specific disciplinary history would raise immediate questions about team values. Why does this matter for the Vikings right now? It highlights a disconnect between the reported interest and the established standards of the franchise. If the team were to pursue a player with such baggage, it would contradict the message that Kevin O'Connell promotes to his players regarding integrity and team-first behavior. The potential addition of Brendan Sorsby would not just be a personnel move. It would be a statement on what the organization is willing to overlook in the pursuit of talents. Fans are right to question the logic behind such a pursuit, especially when the current quarterback room is already navigating a high-profile competition. A move like this would shift the focus away from the field and toward the front office's decision-making process. The narrative has effectively turned into a test of the organization's philosophy versus their desire to find an upgrade at quarterback. Whether this interest was ever concrete or merely an exploration of available talent, the mere suggestion of it forces us to evaluate what kind of risks the Vikings are willing to embrace. The ripple effects of this rumor extend to the fans who are caught in the middle of a complex offseason narrative. The competition between Kyler Murray and JJ McCarthy was already intense, and the introduction of a third name, regardless of the draft status, adds a layer of confusion to the daily proceedings. If the Vikings truly felt their long-term solution was already on the roster, the whispers surrounding Brendan Sorsby likely would not exist. This is the crux of the current dilemma. The organization is signaling, perhaps unintentionally, that they are not fully settled. The reality is that the Vikings are currently managing the scrutiny that comes with having multiple high-level players vying for the same role. Adding a prospect with the specific baggage that Brendan Sorsby brings to the table would have transformed this training camp from a focused competition into a total circus. The constant headlines regarding bets and eligibility would have dwarfed the actual development of JJ McCarthy and the acclamation of Kyler Murray. From a tactical standpoint, the coaching staff needs stability to evaluate their options, not distractions that pull focus away from the playbook. By confirming that there is no supplemental draft this year, the NFL has effectively saved the Vikings from themselves. This forced delay means the team can focus on their current players without the immediate pressure of integrating a new, controversial element into the mix. For the supporters, this is a moment to breathe. The roster is set for the time being, and the attention can return to the primary objective: determining which of the current quarterbacks can lead the team effectively through the 2026 season without the unnecessary chaos that would have followed to this potential addition. As we look toward the remainder of the offseason, the focus must remain on the development of the existing squad. The Vikings have a clear path forward now that the external noise surrounding Brendan Sorsby has been silenced by the league's policy. The decision not to hold a supplemental draft is a massive factor, as it removes the ability for the team to make a move for any quarterback prospect until the 2027 cycle. This gives Kyler Murray and JJ McCarthy the necessary breathing room to compete for the starting job in a more controlled environment. The organization can now return to the business of internal evaluation, focusing on performance, consistency, and the scheme fit that Kevin O'Connell demands from his signal callers. The concern about paying Kyler Murray or trading JJ McCarthy remains valid, but these are issues to be resolved through performance on the field rather than by seeking shortcuts. The integrity of the roster is preserved, and the team avoids the potential reputational risks associated with players involved in betting scandals. For the fans, the priority should continue to be the progress shown during the upcoming training camp. The drama that could have erupted is gone, and the path to a successful season is now solely in the hands of the players and coaches currently under contract. We will continue to track how the battle between Kyler Murray and JJ McCarthy unfolds as the summer progresses. The focus shifts back to winning, to the gridiron, and to the standards that the Vikings aim to uphold every single Sunday. The team has navigated a strange diversion, but now the mission is clear, and the stability of the quarterback position remains the ultimate goal for the upcoming campaign.